Alright, we are going to be replacing the front U-joint on a Polaris Sportsman 570. Now the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have the right U-joint here. And we're going to take parts. All balls provide the sticker, a spring clip here, different certs and clips here, and then the joint itself. Now what we're going to be replacing, if you haven't done it before, to see what it's like, is we're going to be replacing this whole assembly here, and these clips will slide down into these grooves here, which are right below the yokes. So there's the joint there, here's the clips, as well as the cert. The Polaris does not come with those from the factory. That's something that All Balls has provided, so that we're not having to replace U-joints as often. So the first thing we're going to do is find these clips and knock them out of there. And that's just kind of you just got to find the end of them and then just tap them out of there, however they come out. If you can find the end of them and tap on them, that's the best way of doing it. That way you can tap on the end of it, pushing it out. Sometimes you have to use 2 screwdrivers, same length, kind of just tap, find both ends like this. Sometimes if the joints are clean, those clips will just spin around and around, so you gotta put 2 screwdrivers here, tap on them both at the same time, that'll push that clip out. So it'll be like this clip, 2 screwdrivers, tap it down like that. So in this case, this one is pretty dirty, and so it won't take much to get those clips out. All right, now we'll find both the end of these clips here. On this side, there'll be 4 clips total on each U-joint. So make sure, that's why you gotta wear eye protection. No telling where those are gonna go. So we've got one more. Sometimes they can be in a tricky spot. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and kind of turn your drive shaft until you can find it. Careful if you have windows in the shop or kids or anything else, just make sure that everybody's aware of what you're doing. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take that yoke, we're going to hold it in our hand. What we're going to do, if the vise is set down tight, we can tap on this. Tap on the yoke, that'll push this cap up. This one right here up, because that U-joint, the center of that U-joint is actually pushing that up. So we're kind of working against itself. I like to spray these that way. Sometimes I think maybe they come out a little bit better that way. Sometimes they're just difficult. Sometimes they just slide right out fairly easily without any problem. So we'll try this, otherwise we might have to turn that vise and get it to a different spot. This doesn't give you a whole lot of area to work with. These are steel, so you can put quite a bit of pressure on them. There you go. See, that's pushing that cap right there out. Once it gets started, sometimes it's a lot easier. After it's started, you can just hang on to it and just kind of work it out here. Tapping on this area, they can break, so just be careful of that. Flip it over now. Start working that other side, then we'll flip back over and see if we can get finished on this side. Okay, I didn't actually do a 180 turn, I just did 90 degrees. You can see how that cap is coming out here. That cap was on top. So now we're trying to push this one down. Sometimes those are a little bit easier to put it in the vise. So we'll slide that there and work on this side. All right, and you can see how that cap is popping up. We're getting close there. You want to make sure that when you're doing that, you don't get your fingers behind there. Sometimes I stick a screwdriver, that way we're not pushing against itself on that actual drive shaft. Might break a screwdriver, but at least it won't be a finger. We're awful close. Sometimes you can get channel locks in there but we're actually, this joint is loose enough, it's not allowing us to go down completely. So that's actually going to be as far as we can go. I might try channel locks on here. Otherwise we'll have to punch that other joint out before we can pull this the rest of the way. Yeah, these aren't going to go. So now what we're going to do is loosen this up. We're going to take this now, set it in the vise this way. I'm going to turn it so you guys can see it. Now we're going to go this way. So we're going to put the vise right here, but on the other side. So we don't want to let the whole thing slide through. Otherwise we're kind of defeating the purpose here. So we'll do this. Had we know that we were going to hit, we would have done this one first, but kind of get it right in the middle there. Make sure when you're hitting, you're not you're slamming down on here. So we'll tap now this way. And you can see that cap coming up there. We'll do the same to the other side, and then we might be far enough out to get the, where this one's so bad, it's hard to get everything lined up. It's a lot easier to do these joints before they're completely worn down. There you go, you can see that cap coming out now. So that cap came off. All those bearings have already fallen out. So that one's out. Now what we'll do is turn it this way. We'll try to punch this the rest of the way out. That's good enough there. Now we'll do the same thing. This we'll be able to just slide right out now. Should be able to. And then we'll work on getting everything set back in there. So there's that, the main shaft there. There's that yoke. Now what we do is put this in here. And the same thing we just did, except for just half the pieces here. Again, make sure we don't bind it too much in there to where we can't hit it down. And that is out there. And then we'll flip it over, do the same thing here. And we will tap that out there. Now that one is out, and we will go ahead and replace the other one. So we've got a yoke on either side, right here and right here. So we've got this U-joint here.